It only took 23 and a half years, but I have finally completed every single set from the Pokemon Neo era. From commons to holos to shinings, all 383 cards that make up Genesis, Discovery, Southern Islands, Revelation, and Neo Destiny all reside in one Voltex binder, and I gotta say it looks amazing. It's a little bittersweet knowing it's finished, but the journey to get to this point was beyond amazing. I did not buy a single card online. I only traded or bought these cards from friends, at card shows, just anywhere I could track down one of these things in person. And doing it that way just made me feel so much better about the accomplishment. It's so easy these days for people just to go online and buy every single card, put it all in your cart and just check out. But taking my childhood collection, which was maybe 30-40% complete, and then turning it into an entire era of completion in this binder, I'm stoked. I am happy, I am thrilled, and I want to show it off to all of you. So let's get into it. I am going to show off every single card on every single page. I'll let you know my favorites. I'll let you know the ones that I struggled tracking down. A lot of those you are gonna already know because I've been doing this for quite some time on the channel and quite some time on my Instagram. Drop a follow. The journey is far from over. The e-readers have been beyond amazing to start collecting because that's something I didn't experience as a child. But let's take a minute to focus on what I remember as a kid and what I am most proud of. To start off, I just want to say I'm really happy I went with the 4x3 binder, the Voltex XL version, 12 cards per page. I just think it looks so much better showcasing this many cards at once, especially once I flip this page over and you see 24 all the way across. It looks amazing. This is how it should have been showcased from the start, and this whole binder just looks dope now that it's finished. But let's get into Neo Genesis. This is the first set from the Neo era. It has all the starters, Feraligatr, Meganium, Typhlosions on the next page, and a bunch of these holos are my absolute favorites from the Neo era itself. This Pichu specifically, this one survived my childhood collection. It's one of the favorite cards that I have, period, and it just looks so good under the light here. The different colors in the holo background. I just think this card looks amazing. It's got a big swirl there at the top. The Lugia is probably in my top 10, not specifically my top 5 from the Neo era, but this card is actually pretty special to me just because of the way I got it. I had to trade away another one of my childhood cards for it. I had the secret rare from Fire Red Leaf Green. I just randomly bought a Fire Red Leaf Green pack as a kid, I guess. Pulled that card, and then I ended up trading it for this Lugia. That card meant a lot to me because it was from my childhood collection, but doing how I would have done it as a kid anyways, trading a card for a card, that just kind of meant more to me and getting this card and how I obtained it. So this card's great, it's special. I obtained it in the best way possible of trading one of those cards away, and it just looks really awesome. I love the Heracross artwork. I love both Feraligatr cards. The Blossom was from my childhood collection. The Kingdra's sick looking. There's really just not a bad card in this set at all. On the second page here, both Typhlosions are dope. I love that Slowking. It has a massive swirl in the middle of it. I mean, you can't beat that. It has holo on top of holo. A lot of these cards that I started tracking down after the fact, especially once we get deeper into the Neo era, specifically like Discovery and Revelation, a lot of these cards are swirled up, but they are also double holo eras. You'll see here in a second, there is just so much holo and all over the card. Let's flip through the rest of these pages, finish out Genesis. A lot of nostalgic artwork on all of these pages here. And a couple of the first edition cards that you're going to see throughout the binder, those cards are from my childhood collection. So every card that I obtained once I took my childhood collection apart, I did get unlimited copies to complete the collection out. So any card you see with a first edition stamp on it, you're going to know it's actually from my childhood collection. So that one, that one, that one, all these trainers here. I did open up some first ed as a kid, and I kept all the best copies from my childhood collection because a lot of these cards I did have duplicates of as well, but I put at least the first eds that were at least really clean to make this binder and to start completing this master set of all the Neo era. Now let's jump into Discovery here, and I'll show you a couple of these double holo era cards. This Houndour, this one is absolutely sick looking. It has a big swirl there at the bottom, and it has an insane amount of holo on it. These are great examples of these cards, and that's why I tracked them down specifically. I passed on so many copies over the last, I think, 6 to 8 months once I really started tracking down these cards specifically to do this as a project to complete out Neo. And I found the right copies. I found all the ones that make me happy. I found all the ones that look great showcased in a binder like this. I think the Smeargle was one as well. Let's check that out. They're just insane looking. They really don't make them nowadays like they used to. Now, don't get me wrong, modern full arts, art rares, the SARs or the SIRs, whatever you want to call them, specifically Japanese or English, they have amazing texture. They're amazing cards, but this is what I prefer the most of. These Cosmo Holos, I really just don't think you can beat them. Poliwrath is a sick artwork. I'm not going to pull out every single card here. I wish I could, and this video would take hours to make, showcasing every single card. But these cards, especially with these big swirls, they look amazing. Now on the next page here, one of my favorite cards in the entire binder, the Umbreon from Discovery. This card is also from my childhood collection, and it has massive holo bleed on it. A lot of these cards have that, these Umbreon specifically. It was just kind of known for that quote-unquote era, but I love this card. The fact that I pulled it as a kid just means so much more to me. It's such in great shape too. There's a little dot of whitening down there, but overall, it would probably grade high. I mean, it is an expensive card. It's an expensive card, especially if it grades high as well, but I have no drive, no desire to do that. This is how I want my card showcased. Ursing's got a big swirl on it. Just so many of these cards look great. Bunch of first eds in Discovery as well. And Discovery is a short set, only 75 cards. So now we're gonna move into Southern Islands. Southern Islands is where I struggled the most completing this binder. It was so difficult tracking down the right copies of cards because a lot of these cards I found were absolutely destroyed. There was so many bad versions of specific cards like the Mew, the Slowking. When I ran across them, they just looked absolutely terrible. They were scratched up, they were dented, they were dinged, they were bent in half. And I really just wanted to find the best copies to complete this binder, and taking my time with it, finding the right copies, being able to look it over in person and either pass on it or move forward with it. That was the best way to do this. And I'm just so happy I completed it that route versus just specifically buying cards online, going to eBay, going to TCG Player, saying, okay, yeah, I just want a near mint Slowking, check out, buy. It shows up a week later and you slap it in the binder. No, like how I tracked down these cards and how I obtained them was just so much better than that. Slowking, I would say, and the Mew are probably two of my favorites from Southern Islands. Even the Togepi, main reason obviously is they're covered in Cosmo Holos, but I just really like those artworks, and especially all these cards kind of make a picture all together. You can start lining them up, see the Mew connects to the Pidgeot. All these cards, the 3x3s, I probably should have done 3x3x3x3x3 and kind of showcase the specific island groups and chains, but I kind of just liked it like this, so you can tell the artwork all connects on all of the cards. The next two sets are where it starts getting really good, really fast. The legendary dogs are in here. Ho-Oh, Celebi, there's so many great artworks in Revelation. The Suicune was actually one of my favorite pickups in this set. This one, it took me a hot minute to track down the right copy, but I really think I did well. This was from a POW Productions card show. Track this down. This card is legit as close to near mint as possible. Massive swirl on it. Was a great example of this card. The Entei, I believe, was a double holo error as well. Let's check that one out. These cards just look insane. These are absolutely the most nostalgic artworks ever. I prefer this over base set Jungle Fossil any day. I don't really think much competes with Revelation specifically or Neo Era as a whole, like I've stated multiple times now. The Houndoom here, this I got from I think a trade night, double holo era with a big swirl. And that's what I'm saying here. Like, I tracked down the best of the best when it came to some of these cards, and almost every single one is near mint, LP condition. I didn't cheap out. I went for the best copies. I went for the best versions. I wanted a complete near mint binder outside of the shinings. You'll see here in a second what I'm talking about, but there are a couple cards in this binder that I very well might replace down the road. So let's flip through Revelation. A lot of great artworks in this one as well. And like random Pokemon just like stand out, like the Farfetch'd art. I love that one. Parasect, the Octillery. There's just really good nostalgic artwork across this entire set. And then this was the first set that introduced shinings. I did end up trading away my PSA 1s, Magikarp and Gyarados, and at Orlando Collecticon last week, I picked up 2 clean copies of the Gyarados and the Magikarp. So this Gyarados, super clean, in really good shape. Not a lot going on there whitening wise either, just a little bit here and there. So this was a good pickup along with the Magikarp. That was in a, I believe it was a PSA 7. If I can get it out here. Yep, PSA 7 Magikarp. I broke that one open. And it looks really good as well. I'm happy with these now. I loved my PSA 1s, but I am so much happier having raw copies, raw minty copies in the binder. And then the last thing here is a Neo Revelation pack. I picked that up at Charlotte Collecticon last year in 2023. Yeah, depending on when you're watching this video, it is 2024 right now. So about a year ago, I bought a pack at Collecticon. I ripped it at Collecticon's trade night. Didn't pull anything special. I think it was the Kingdra. It was the non-holo Kingdra I pulled out of that pack. And I did swap out every single card that I pulled in that pack into this set here. So that pack meant a lot to me, ripping it myself. Now that I'm of age, I guess you would call it. But as an adult, I ripped the pack open and I put every hit from that pack into the set mixed in. The final set of Neo Era is Destiny. This looks freaking absolutely amazing finished. And these dark and light Pokemon are some of the best ever created. Now, just word came out yesterday that they are announced a new Team Rocket set coming out. I am super excited for that because they very well might bring back dark type Pokemon, and with a reprint or a kind of a copy of Team Rocket Returns, and then the dark types from Neo Destiny. I am so pumped for what Pokemon is going to release. It might come out in 2025, but I am hype. I am excited, and we'll see what that set brings. But this set alone is freaking amazing. The Dark Gengar, the Dark Houndoom. I got deals on a lot of these cards too. So if you've been following along with the series, if you've been a part of this channel for a while, I picked up this Dark Houndoom. I think it was 20 bucks at a card show, and it's just... It's crazy. It's crazy some of these deals I came across. Just finding the right copies, finding the right deals, and the absolute steals I got on some of these cards just kind of meant so much more in that aspect as well, waiting for the right deal to come along, let alone the right copy. The Light Dragonite I picked up at a Collecticon. There was, I think, 6 cards I picked up at Collecticon. The Light Dragonite was one of them, and the Dark Espeon. Those were the last 2 holos I needed to complete Destiny outside of the few Shinings and the Mew from Southern Islands. So this Dark Espeon looks absolutely disgusting with that big swirl on it. This card's in really good shape as well. There's not like I stated, there's not a lot of bad condition cards throughout this entire binder. The Dark Scizor is one of my favorite arts. The Feraligators from my childhood collection. This Light Arcanine is also from my childhood collection. And I can't believe some of these cards stood through the years. I did not destroy them. They weren't even in sleeves, but they really didn't get that dinged up. They didn't get that scratched up. I know the Dark Tyranitar, those 3 specifically are all from my childhood collection. And then a bunch of the commons and uncommons are, but I think those 3 holos were all that I had. I believe the Dark Typhlosion was as well. The rest I have tracked down over the last year. So let's finish out this binder. Look through Destiny. A lot of great artworks. I'm a big Scyther fan. That's a great artwork. The light cards, the Vaporeon, the Slowbro, they're all amazing. And then we're starting to get into the trainers. And then the next page, we have the Shinings. So with the Shinings here, there are specifically beat up cards because I had tracked those down before I started this project. I was trying to get my hands on a full lineup of PSA 1 graded material cards. So this card was broken open from I think a CGC 2 or 2.5, something stupid low. And I broke this card open because I wanted to get this card sequentially graded with all the other Neo Destiny Shinings that were gonna be paired up with my Magikarp and Gyarados, the 2 PSA 1 Shinings I already had. But I got this card specifically for that. I very well might replace it down the road. I still might grade this down the road to get the PSA 1, but the Mewtwo, the Raichu, and the Tyranitar, these cards are all destroyed, and the Kabutops. So they have definitely seen better days, but I loved finding these cards for the specific reason why I was tracking them down originally. So I have no problem keeping them in my Neo binder for the time being until I might replace them down the road with cleaner copies. Like, look at this Kabutops. This Kabutops I found at a show like maybe 6, 8, 12 months ago, and it's destroyed. Like, this card went through hell and back, somebody's wallet card, who knows what. This is how a PSA 1 should look. There's so many people these days just folding cards in half, getting the PSA 1 grade and calling it a day in hopes that they're going to sell it for more money. But this is what I like. A card that has history, a card that is actually destroyed top to bottom and aged just because somebody loved this card. Somebody did who knows what, kept it in a shoebox, but it meant something to somebody. So tracking down this card and giving it new life and now a Neo Era Master Set, I think it is being honored in a different way. The Noctowl and Steelix, those were the 2 Shinings from my childhood collection. These 2 cards are actually really good shape. I kept really good care of my childhood cards. The Noctowl looks exactly the same. I've looked at those cards specifically. They very well could 9 or possibly 10, who knows? But again, I'm not grading any of these. They mean more to me in the binder here. And then we have the Charizard. The Charizard I actually picked up at a sports show from a sports vendor. He had a shoebox full of cards. Now, it does have some damage on it. There is a crease on the top. There is some whitening on the card. The face actually looks really good though. You can see a little bit of the crease through the front face, but overall, it is a clean face card. I paid $110 for it at a sports show. I'm not complaining. I am never going to find another Shining Charizard for that price. So having that little bit of crease on it, I don't care because I found the right deal. I'm happy with this card and it's staying in the binder here. The only card that I might add right here is the Shining Mew. It was only available in Japanese, but I really think I want to pick up a copy for the binder here just to kind of complete the whole Neo era, because I am collecting almost everything WotC-like. I have a bunch of the file sets as well sealed. I'm probably going to get my hands on a lot of the theme decks. There are just specific odds and ends that I still might add to what I consider a complete WotC collection. That's it. It's done. The Neo era has been completed. This binder is probably the absolute favorite in my collection, and we're moving on into e-readers. We're going to get those knocked out before we leave the WotC era and start moving into the EX era with Nintendo, but we got a long ways to go. Aquapolis, Skyridge, Expedition, they are expensive sets, they are tough sets, and I have to track down every single one in person. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to join in on this journey as we complete every set in the WotC era before moving on to every set that Pokemon has ever printed.
Don't stop, breathe.